till 9 o'clock, but it just started. Oh, there's my hat. I haven't got my hat on. This is not good. There you go. That's better. You'll recognise me now. Hello, anyone out there? Started a little bit early because, you know, YouTube on your phone is mad. Let me just plug in my phone so it doesn't run out of bloody batteries while I'm doing this. Yes, there you go. Bit impromptu. Hello, broadcasting live from sunny Liverpool here on Morning Brew. If you want to let me know that you're in the chat on the screen, it'll pop up. I'm on my phone, okay? So obviously I don't have my normal periphery on the screen here with me. You know, my little Morning Brew logo and your wonderful words coming up here. And also, when I'm looking on the phone, it's reversed. So yeah, it's kind of a bit weird. Anyway, US Medic, how you doing? We've got Sarah Davis saying happy birthday. Yes, it's my birthday today. Woo! 21 again for the 25th time. Happy birthday, Grace says this. Hi everyone. Says Sarah, if you'd like to join them in the chat, all you need to do is just join them in the chat, I think, because I haven't managed to set up the thing that only allows subscribers to chat. So anyone can say anything today, but don't be a dick or we will mute you and boot you. Happy birthday, says Disco Edge, and Russell Cannon says happy birthday. Oh, thank you. You're also kind. You're also very, very kind. Hi friends, says Benjamin. Hello. Oh, wow, SG. Thank you very much for the super chat. I feel really bad now because I don't have the super chat animation set up. Happy birthday. Oh, cheers. Thank you. Happy birthday, Graham. Happy birthday. Oh, I feel saying happy birthday today. And you've got me 2 minutes early. Normally at this time, I'm running around trying to make myself a cup of coffee, but no, you've got me. You've got me. You've got me already. Super chat, says Billy Kershaw. Yeah, happy birthday. So thank you very much to SG for the £10 super chat. That's really kind of you. And Early Graham, also happy birthday. Yeah, I set the YouTube on my phone, scheduled it to start at 9 o'clock. And then I pressed, next, not go live. I pressed next, and then the phone went live, and I was like, oh shit, I better get started. Then I guess. So yes. What else we got in the chat? Graham is early today. Will be a good day, says UK Medic. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. So today we're going to be talking about. This is how unprepared I was to get started. I don't actually have a table for my laptop, so I'm going to be holding my laptop here. With my notes on it. Thank you very much to Sarah Davis. Have a great day. Oh, Sarah, thank you so much. The 10th super chat. I'm trying to give it a heart, but it won't let me. I'll give it a like instead. Can I give it a like? No, it's not even letting me give it a like, but I do like it. Thank you very much, Sarah. That's very kind of you. Oh, Colin, thank you very much. Colin Baker. We've also got John C. Happy birthday, Graham. Oh, thank you. So after the show, I'm going to be going out with my family into town here in Liverpool, and we're going to be doing some birthday things. So Phil is going to be manning the joint for the agenda at 1 o'clock, and he'll be appearing with Mike Dix at 1 o'clock. And Mikey Famine is going to be taking over the social tonight, and I think they're going to put it out on the Bin Network. So I'll put a link in for you for the Bin Network. So thank you very much, Colin, for the super chat, mate. That's really kind of you. Thank you very much to John C as well for the super chat. Thanks very much to Graham Haller for the £10 super chat. Thank you. I get lots of birthday presents today. Yay. Okay, so we're going to be talking today. I'm going to try and hold my laptop up next to the phone. Yes, I can. So we're talking about the high stakes meeting between Trump and Keir Starmer. Now, I put in the thumbnail, like we're lucky to have him, about Keir Starmer. And I know there's been a lot of criticism over Labour and what they've done so far. Billy Kershaw just keeps shouting super chat. I think I got all the super chats. Did I, Billy? Did Billy put a super chat in and I missed it? Hang on, let me go all the way back. SG, morning all. No, Billy, if you did put a super chat in, I didn't get it. Tim Ballum, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. Hippie bath day. Oh God, yeah. Gonna have to have my first bath of the year today, since it's my birthday. So yeah, very, very high stakes meeting. Oh, happy birthday, says Richie Goff. Thank you so much, Richie Goff. We're never gonna get started here, are we? It is my birthday. You can look it up on Wikipedia. It's also Global Scouse Day here in Liverpool. Oh, what a surprise! What a great coincidence. Which is really cool. So I will be having some Scouse today at some point. The kids don't like Scouse, which is awful. It's because we bring them up in Durham, not here in Liverpool. So we're probably going to get some Scouse pies, because if you put it in puff pastry, they'll eat anything as long as it's in puff pastry. There you go. Oh, sorry, Billy Kershaw saying I'm just being daft. Sorry, I thought I missed the super chat. I feel guilty. Also, I haven't got my mic on. I was going to plug my mic in and test my mic. YouTube, you've done me a disservice. This is a lot less professional than it should be. But yeah, 2025 blessings on your birthday. 2025 blessings on your birthday. Graham, cheers, says Andrew Ray. Thank you very much, sir. You're very kind. Happy birthday, Graham. We share the same birthday. Oh, yes, you and Ellis. We share the same birthday. Also, Mike Galsworthy of Staying in the EU fame. It's his birthday today as well. Me and Mike are birthday buddies. Birthday buddies we are. This says you're fine. Oh, that's very nice of you. I'm another super chat from Veg Pie. Hey, Veg Pie, how's it going? Happy birthday, Graham. Oh, thank you so much, Veg Pie. Look forward to seeing you again in September for the Labour Party conference here in Liverpool. Okay, so am I going to crack on? No, Ivan Ambrose. Birthday money to you, Graham. Oh, thank you very much, Ivan. That's so kind of you. Oh, wow. Thank you, everyone. That's been really nice. Maybe just sit here and just tell you how awesome you all are. We won't talk about Trump because I don't really want to talk about Trump. If you notice on the thumbnail, it's like a picture of Keir Starmer and Trump, and I've just cropped Trump off the side. You can't see him at all. You can tell it's him. You can tell the orange makeup glow, but yeah. But aside from that, yeah, it's just focusing on Keir Starmer. So this is the first official visit to Washington by the Prime Minister. He didn't actually go to visit Joe Biden, I don't think, in the whole time that he was Prime Minister and Joe Biden was president. The meeting was not just pivotal to UK-US relations, but also watched closely by Europe, Ukraine, and the international community. The challenge for Starmer was this, right? Balancing diplomacy with a volatile and unpredictable Trump, all while maintaining integrity and the UK's position on NATO and Ukraine. So yeah, this is a high stakes gamble with a madman. You know, high stakes tete-a-tete with a lunatic, which is what Trump is. He is an absolute psychopath. We might mention what's happened with them giving the Tate brothers asylum in America. Like, Calvin Robinson must be so upset. You know, the priest guy, Calvin Robinson, he must be really, really sad today because his application to go and be in America has been rejected. And they're like, oh yeah, these two sex offenders who are wanted in 3 different jurisdictions for sexual offences. Yeah, you can come over, make some videos for us. Yeah. Oh my God, could you imagine Bad Enoch in the US? This is what I was going to mention. Like, imagine Bad Enoch. She's just so. You've seen how crap she is at Question Time. Imagine her trying to negotiate with Trump. Imagine Liz Truss. Imagine Liz Truss trying to negotiate with Trump. Do you know what I mean? Like, she couldn't negotiate her way out of a wet paper bag. Imagine Boris Johnson. To be fair to Boris Johnson, which is never a term I like to use, he could probably charm Trump, but it would be like 2 toddlers in the room. So you never know which way it would go. Rishi Sunak, I think he would just bore Trump. We saw what Theresa May was like when she met with Trump in January 2017. She was the first foreign dignitary to meet with him, and they were holding hands, skipping through the Rose Garden, some kind of nightmarish version of Romeo and Juliet. Frankenstein and Dracula. So yeah, there's I can't really think of that many politicians right now in the UK who I would have rather had going to do that meeting, who I would have trusted to do that meeting and come out with, you know, the trump cards, so to speak. But we'll get into that. Change his mind by next week, says UK medic. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, UK. He probably will. But Roxy Will says, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Graham. Happy birthday to you. I'm not going to sing because I can't sing, but thank you very much for the fun emojis there. I concede she would have made it even worse. She would have even, yeah. SG, he did an interview earlier. I'm not sure it was part of the same meeting. Yeah, happy birthday, Graham. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Reagan Ali. Thank you. We need to get Reagan on the show, don't we? Reagan and One Angry Pagan. Let's do that in March, okay? We will do it in March. I'll try and get my head in the game, and we'll sort all that out. If Lizzie Wizzy went to visit Donald Dump, then we'd be instantly in the deep cow mud, says Truly noble indeed. Johnson will give him the NHS, says Captain. He would have, yeah, on a silver platter. It's like, oh, I feel so bad about the Boston Tea Party. I'm sorry about imposing taxes, taxation without representation. So what I've done, forgive me. What I've done is I've given him everything. Anyway, did Starmer mention a chainsaw? No, unfortunately not. That's SG. Happy birthday, Graham, says Kieran. Thank you very much, Kieran, for the birthday wishes. Johnson might get on with Trump, but his scarecrow act on the world stage was hugely embarrassing. It was. Always up for a chat, Graham, says Reagan Lee. Really cool. We've also got Koala Meat saying happy birthday, and thank you. And we've got Tate Brothers seek restraining order against US women accused them of trying to recruit her for sex work, says Tim Ballum. Yep. We've spoken about this on the channel, that the whole transphobic movement was never women first. It was never women first. It was white, cisgender, heteronormative men first, above everybody else. So any women who jumped on that bandwagon, the transphobic bandwagon, they're now suffering the consequences of what we on this side, not just me, I mean, the trans community and allies, have been saying for a very long time. It's a Trojan horse. Transphobia is a Trojan horse. They come for the trans people, then they come for the gay people. Gay marriage is being made illegal again in 16 states in America, thanks to the Supreme Court, who are adjudicating on it at the moment. And I guarantee, in the same way that, Roe versus Wade went the way of the dinosaurs, they're going to get rid, and you're talking hundreds of thousands of gay marriages are going to be annulled. So they came after the trans people. They banned all 6 of them from doing college sports, and then they've gone after, and they tried to transfer trans women into men's prisons, which is just horrific. I mean, just on every level, that's horrific. And then I guess J.K. Rowling and her gruesome familiars were all really happy about that. And then, after, so bitter and twisted, I think J.K. Rowling, maybe she took the substance. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe she's got like a younger version that comes out of her every week, and she has to just hide in the corner, in the dark, in the secret room behind the bathroom. Skills, by the way, I've got to say, absolute skills of Demi Moore building that secret room to hide herself when she's in a different form. That's some A-tier DIYing skills from Demi there. Well done. Anyway, I'm just getting distracted. But yeah, so they went after gays, and then they went after women, and they've released two sex traffickers, 2 men who have abused women all their lives, 2 men who encourage other men to abuse women, and they're now free to roam around America spreading their toxic bile. Meanwhile, women have had abortion rights taken away, and now they're getting voting rights taken away. There's this mad rule that they've got going through Congress at the moment, and it's about your name has to be the same as the name on your birth certificate unless you've got a passport in that name. They won't accept driving licenses, which means that disenfranchises over 60 million married women in America, because they changed their name and they got married, as a lot of people do, and it doesn't match the name on the birth certificate. And this is going through, it's called the SAVE Act, it's SAVE, it's like Save American Voting Exclusionism or something, it stands for something. The SAVE Act, but it will disenfranchise all these women, and you're just like, why? We warned you. We said, if you go down that route of bigotry towards trans people, this is where it leads. It leads to Gilead. You start with J.K. Rowling sitting outside the bathroom, the toilets of the National Express coach station in Manchester, and shouting at people for not looking feminine enough when they go for a wee, traditionally feminine enough, which is slightly ironic if you think about it. But yeah. This is where we are. This is where we are, thanks to the fact that misogynists are now ruling the roost. And there's a part of me that really, really hopes that this is the last hurrah. This is the last ditch attempt to keep the world in the old world order. Shell and BP and all these gobshite companies, Chevron, they're all ramping up oil production. They're trying to just burn the world as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, 7,000 buildings are at risk in Alexandria in Egypt. 7,000 buildings. at risk of collapse because of sea level rise. Because we were talking for a long time about, oh, well, it has to rise for a meter and then it might be a problem. No, because the water, it goes up and down. You have tides, okay? So when it gets really high, it gets under the foundations. It gets through the water lens into, under these buildings, and it's salt water, and salt water just wants to eat everything. Just ask the Titanic. Yeah. Tate Brothers, Secret Retaining Order. Yeah, I've read that. Happy Cake and Booze Day, Graham. Thank you very much to Martin. Alistair, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. It's very kind of you. Happy birthday and have a tipple on me, Graham, with the cake. Oh, thank you. Alistair, what do you recommend? Okay, you are Scottish. I like Scotch. So if you would recommend something, I might have a tipple of that tonight, and I'll try and take a photo of him on social media if I remember. If I'm not too drunk. I've got my sensible family affair earlier on, and then later in the night I'm just going to get wasted at a pub with a couple of mates. I think that's the plan. Orange toddler's face when he got the invite from the palace. I know we're going to come to that, but he was like the gruesome kids in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. So all the kids apart from Charlie Bucket, although he does seem to have Charlie Bucket's kind of hair in a way, what Charlie Bucket's hair would look like when he was 80. But yeah, all the horrible kids. So Augustus Gloop, Veruca Salt, Mike TV, and the other one, whose name escapes me momentarily, but I will remember it. Violet Beauregard. It's all four of them put together, isn't it? He's Mike TV, he wants to be on the TV, wants to be on. He's Augustus Gloop with his gluttony, eating his fried chicken and all that shit. He's like stamping his feet, going, "I want this and I want that." Like the Veruca Salt. I mean, he just is those kids. And they've gone, oh, they must have been the goodies in the film. That must have been a parable about, how you should behave like a lunatic and then end up dead at the hands of a crazed chocolatier. Yeah. By the way, read between the lines, peeps. They're all dead. They're all so dead. I mean, I know in the movies they have them coming out at the end going, oh no, I'm all right. I'm just a bit blue, but. All right, moving on. You could invite people from the chat to join you on screen. I don't know how to do that yet, but I will suss that out. Do you know what? I wish I bought a better tripod, like a solid tripod, because every time I touch the screen, the whole phone is shaking like this, but I have to touch the screen to read the messages. Morning, happy birthday again from Tripod. I just mentioned tripod. Saz says happy birthday. Oh, thank you. Canada's putting up a great fight so far. Indeed it is. Agreed, having to watch Trump was cringe. I'm proud of how Starmer handled it. Graham, I cancelled my trip to New York, says UK Medsy. In boycott of how the US have been acting. Won't make a dent, but doing my part, lol. No, I mean, it will, because one snowflake does not an avalanche make, but millions of snowflakes. Yeah, you get yourself an avalanche. Be a snowflake. Low-hanging fruits. Yeah, happy birthday, Mr. Hughes. Thank you very much, Plum Duff. Happy birthday, says Band of Harp Jays. Maybe Trump is happy with the Shergoss deal. Clapton's fears for the future of Shergoss are at an end, and Farage can concentrate on domestic affairs, just asking questions. Yeah, because that was a huge issue on the streets of Clacton, apparently. The fact that, what was it? The Shergoss Islands might go back to Mauritius, where they belong. That would be the worst thing ever. Sorry, the camera's not entirely straight, and it's upsetting me OCD. Sarah, that's a good idea. Maybe 20 seconds each, put a face to the name and say hello. Is that possible? Not right now, not at the moment, because I'm obviously not in my studio. But in the future, maybe we could try and do something like that. Whoa, we just got a huge super chat coming. I've got to zoom down. Ivan, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. The Tate brothers should have their British citizenship removed. Don't forget they go after disabled people too. Yes, they do, because they're absolute scum. But they've still got American citizenship. Wow, thank you very much, Andrew. Andrew's put £100. I don't even have my little animation to say ultra chat. No, that'll be a super chat, mega chat. What's it? Hyper chat. Was it hyper chat? I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much, Andrew. That's really, really kind of you. That's amazingly kind of you. Thank you very much to Andrew Dixon there for the £100 super chat. That's insane. Thank you so much. To her credit, she kind of accepted that, or at least didn't argue back. I missed what we're talking about there. Sorry, I was running down to see what Andrew had done. Thank you very much. I'm just going Andrew Dixon, you are a star. Frequent appointments with psychiatrist on Tuesday. Says Ivan, that's really good that you got to do that, but I know you have to pay for it, which is really shit because it should be something that is on the NHS. So they're talking about getting people back to work, getting people back on their feet. We need to provide the services that they need in order to do that. We need to make those, reasonable provisions in order, reasonable adjustments in order to get people to a point where they feel like they can work. Just ordering them to work, it's just a Tory way, wasn't it? It was like, you've got to go back to work, or we're gonna stop your money. We've got to stop your food coming in. And it's like, I'm off with stress. Do you think this is helping my stress? It's not helping my stress, you dickheads. Phil Spicer, thank you very much. Cragganmore whiskey, if you can find it, says Phil. £2 super chat there. Thank you very much, and happy birthday. Cragganmore whiskey. I'll try and remember that. Wow, Andrew, that will make his birthday. It absolutely does. Thank you so much, Andrew. That is really, really kind of you. Mikey's in the chat. Yay! Mikey should be back tonight at 9:30 GMT with Tim and also Mike Dix and others. I guess I don't know about Wayne. He was a bit fucking wasted. I don't know if you noticed, but last Friday Wayne was 3 sheets to the wind. So. If he's going to come on the show tonight, Mikey, make sure that he's had a sobriety test. Make sure he's okay to drive. If he's not okay to drive, he's probably not all right to present the show. I've also got a super chat come in from Mike, €5. Thank you very much. Happy another lap around the Sunday. Oh, thank you so much, sir. UK says, the day Labour get you and Phil Morehouse on board for comms, the day I can breathe easier. The Labour will get a successful B2B terms and stability in this country. I would love to see that. Maybe not me. I don't know. I prefer to be on the periphery. Do you know what I mean? I prefer to be, Statler and Waldorf watching the Muppet Show, making jokes about them. But Phil would be a fantastic asset to the Labour Party, and he's willing to do it as well. The fact they haven't picked up on it is just mind-blowing. Like, he obviously knows his stuff, and he knows what he's doing, and he knows what works, and yeah, it's a source of eternal frustration for a lot of us. I'm really sorry, but the frame rate's gone really low. I just realised that my mouth is, don't know why it's done that. Maybe too many chats. No, don't stop chatting. My first video appointment for my ADHD assessment back end of March, says Lucy. Well, I only had one. I only had one, and they had my thing that I'd filled out, and then just basically asked me a bunch of questions about, growing up and why I've asked for it. And my brother's been diagnosed with ADHD, so that sort of gave me a bit of an in with that. But I know Subatansky, she got her ADHD assessment back last month, and she was found to have ADHD as well. So we're like ADHD buddies. But she was concerned before she took it that they'll say no, you don't have ADHD. I'm sorry, you don't have ADHD, Tan. You're just a gobshite. Luckily, they didn't say that. But I don't think there's much to worry about if you explain to them how you have difficulty in executive functioning, how that affects you, your real world examples of how that affects you, and how difficult you find some really simple stuff. It's mad to have an ADHD because you find some like really complex shit easy, like visiting every country in the world without flying, for instance. Hey, piece of cake. But then you struggle doing the dishes, and you're like, what is wrong with me? I was like, rocket science, brain surgery, bring it on. Having to make the bed? What? Where does this bit go? It is a bit like that. But yeah, good luck with it. Hopefully it'll only be the one meeting. Daily Blood, hey Darren, how you doing? Good morning, Graham. Good morning, chat. Hope you're all very, very well. Spare a thought for our poor Kemi and Farage under Trump, after Trump threw them under the bus over the Chagos Islands. Well, yeah, we're going to come to that. Thank you very much, Darren. We've got Phil saying, a Scottish friend of mine introduced lots of whiskies. He recommended putting Cragganmore on your clooty dumplings. Not done that yet. Well, I always celebrate Burns Night every year. Always get a haggis for Burns Night. Get some nice single malt whiskey. We got some Talisker whiskey this year for Burns Night. And I don't know, I'm a fan. What can I say? I'm a fan. But tomorrow's St. David's Day. Tomorrow is the day of the patron saint of Wales as well. I'm very fond of Wales as well. I'm very fond of most of the countries in Europe that are actually in Europe. I'm looking at you, Russia. Europe. But yes, there's. I love the fact that I live in a continent where there's so much diversity of culture. so many different languages, so many ways of seeing the world and describing the world, so many different culinary, joys to find. I love the fact that I can drive from here in Durham, in Liverpool. I can be in another country where they speak a different language in like 40 minutes in Wales, or I can drive up to Scotland from Durham, and it's only like an hour away, and it's a different culture. It's a different way of doing things, and I absolutely love that. And it's one of the reasons why I never really feel at home somewhere probably like Canada or Australia, although there are things about those countries that I absolutely love the bones of. They are Canada in all directions. They're Australia in all directions. And one thing I always feel about Australia, Canada as well, but not to the same kind of extent, because Canada, the way it treated its First Nations was absolutely dreadful. And I'm not going to say it's not. Also, I feel like Canada really should lean into the culture of their First Nations, because that's fascinating to me. I don't find the other stuff to do with Canadian culture, maple syrup and ice hockey, it's fun, it's okay. But I don't know. But then Australia is another kettle of fish when you've got this amazing flora and fauna, which is just fantastic, obviously. And then you've got the fact that you've got 50,000 plus years of continuous Aboriginal civilization in Australia, and they just don't make the most of it. Do you know what I mean? Like when I think of Australia, I think of obviously kangaroos, but like I think of boomerangs, I think of didgeridoos, I think of line paintings, the dots and everything. I think of like Aboriginal culture. That's what I think of. But for a lot of Australians, they don't really consider that like that important to their national psyche. To them, what's more important is like beer, footy, barbecues. And I'm like, everywhere has that. Like everywhere has beer. Even in countries where beer is banned, you can get beer. It's pretty much ubiquitous around the world. There's always a way to get beer. Barbecues, that was invented in the 1950s in America as a way to get men to cook. Because it was like, oh no, cooking is a woman's job. No, we need to get men to cook. In the same way that they had to get women to smoke in the 1910s, they had to get men to go and cook. How do you get men to cook? Well, they must cook meat and no vegetables, just meat, meaty meat, no boiling stuff. That's sissy. No putting things in an oven. That's completely gay. What you need to do is go outside and you need to cook a big slab of meat on a fire, on a real fire. It's called a barbecue. Go buy a barbecue. Be a real man. Buy a barbecue. It's all marketing. It's all marketing. And like, there's nothing unique about it. We have barbecues in this country. Okay, it rains when you do have a barbecue, but there's nothing unique about it. Do you know what I mean? Like America, there's nothing unique about there are barbecues over there as well. It's not unique to Australia. But you know what is unique? Aboriginal culture. Absolutely unique in the world. There were hundreds of different tribes as well. It's not like it was a big monolith. Australia was a huge continent. It's a huge island. And there were hundreds, if not thousands, of different Aboriginal tribes with their own traditions and religion and beliefs and ceremonies and language, and many of them were wiped out entirely by Whitey over here. And the disdain that the Australians still have for the Aboriginals pisses me off more than anything else about Australia, because I live there. I like it as a country. I like going there. But that was the one thing that I just really, really couldn't stomach. Plus the fact it was Australia in all directions. I didn't feel the same negativity, the same attitude towards the Indigenous peoples of Canada. Whenever I've been to Canada, I've been there a few times now, I've never been privy to a conversation where someone's just gone off on one about these bloody people who've been here for thousands of years before I turned up. Whoa, how dare they? You don't really hear that in Canada. Maybe I just need to spend more time there, but in Australia, honestly, it was like the first thing. It was like the first thing that you get when you get there is just some casual racism. Because obviously you agree with them about racism when it's invariably against the Indigenous peoples of Australia. They get to go to university for free, and I'm like, yeah. All you got was a country. You poor bastards. Anyway, also many happy returns going. Thank you very much to David Barzay for that. I'm gonna try to get through a few messages. You've got to let Wayne in. He's a ray of sunshine. Or should I say Wayne of sunshine? I'll get my coat. Hey, agree, Graham. How Phil is not on board already, I don't know. He's an asset to us on the left. He is indeed. Maybe they want to work with Phil and just don't know how to communicate the fact. Well, they're like shy. They're like shy. They're going, oh, I quite like him to join us, but I don't want to say. I mean, what if he says no? I don't know. It was fascinating seeing Starmer take notes during the press conference. Yeah. I think they saw you have ADHD straight away, Graham says. Rich to go, is it a bit obvious? Is it a bit? Hey, Graham, this was the petition to stop M&S advertising on GB News. That's from Reagan Elite. So if you want to join that petition, Reagan Elite's just put there. Stephen Wallace says late but catching up. It's fine. It's fine, my friend. Tam was probably worried about misogyny and medical diagnosis, which does go on. Yeah, head wreck. You're right. Which absolutely does go on for a long time. They thought women couldn't get ADHD. Well, when we were kids, when I was a kid, they thought adults couldn't have ADHD. They thought it was something that only kids could have. So I had a friend of mine who was actually diagnosed with ADHD as a kid, and he was putting Ritalin, and he would have 6 months on, 6 months off, and really tell the difference in his behavior, in his academia, and stuff like that. And I think it was once he was 16, they stopped it because he said, "Oh well, it's fine now. You're cured." Adults don't have ADHD, and it wasn't until his late 30s that he actually went back on medication for it. And it's quite hard to hold things together when your brain is kind of like doing all mad shit. It's non-stop. 3 men in a pub reloaded tonight. Yes, indeed. I have my first ADHD assessment in 2 months. Better late than never, says Sandra. I had to wait over a year for mine, so that's pretty good. That's Labour for you. That's Labour in charge. Ivan, thank you very much. I have a lot of beef as a Labour Party member with them not considering and accommodating disabled Labour Party members. We have a lot to give, but we're always an afterthought, says Ivan. I agree that they could do better. Absolutely, they could do better. Thank you so much for the super chat. And we need to let them know that they need to do better. So letting your MP know, and things like allowing for people's disabilities. I think it's ridiculous that you can't attend the conference virtually. I don't understand why that's not a thing for people, Labour Party members who can't get to the actual conference, right? Why isn't it all just streamed? And you can go on the website and you can choose what to watch, and it's got subtitles, it's got audio description, it's got I know there's a lot of small talks which couldn't necessarily have a BSL interpreter there, but on the big talks they do have a BSL interpreter. Now obviously the BBC and stuff carry the big talks when Rachel Reeves is talking, or Keir Starmer or whatever, but I'm talking about like the little fringe events. There could be a program put together where you can watch it online. You only need a phone. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's not that difficult. Wow, well, another massive super chat come in. So I'm going to go through this quickly because I need to get to it. Chris C, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Thank you. Happy birthday, Graham. Enjoy your special day and have a drink on me. Oh, cheers. Crocodile Dundee, says Alchemist. Yeah, indeed. I should have put me. I've just had my waistcoat, or if you want to be pretentious, you can call it a gilet. Just had my gilet fixed by the nice woman at the Durham Market. And she's fixed it because all the zips were broken off and all the bits are like hanging off and stuff like that. I got this in Afghanistan, in Herat in Afghanistan 15 years ago. True story. I'm sorry, we're just going to run through because someone's just dropped another massive super chat. Woohoo! Russell Cannon! Ultra chat! Yes, thank you very much. It is an ultra chat. Ultra chat for your birthday. Spread the love. Oh, thank you so much, Russell. That is so kind of you. That is immense. That is absolutely immense. Russell, Andrew, everyone else who's given money, thank you. This at the moment is pretty much my only income stream. So thank you. I really, really appreciate it. You people keep me going. You keep me going. You really do. Anne says, my bro got his ADHD diagnosis in his 50s. Sis got hair in his 60s. There's also it's transformed their lives, both their lives, and also my patience with them. Yeah, Anne, it's not just about you. Sorry, I mean you as in the person getting the diagnosis. It really does help. It really does help the people around you understand why you do the things that you do. You're not just being a dick. You're not just being a dick. That's the way your brain works, so they can make reasonable accommodations for it, which they should do. I'm just going to make sure that I haven't missed a super chat there. I don't think I have. I've missed a bunch of stuff. Lesson Snap. It has explained an awful lot, says Chris C. As a child, I was always labelled as lazy or clumsy. Yeah, Chris, I wasn't labelled as lazy necessarily, but it was always like, you know, he does his homework at the last minute. He leaves everything to the last minute. His time management is awful. Like, if you read back through my report, you'd be able to read between the lines, like, you know, I'm ADHD. My brother, he's dyslexic and ADHD. And looking back through his school report, it was all like, doesn't pay attention, can't spell. Doesn't pay attention, can't spell. Doesn't pay. And you're like, but back in those days, they just thought you were naughty. You're just a naughty kid in the 80s, you know. Happy birthday. Have an amazing day. Thank you very much to Zolt Pow. Thank you very much. That's very, very kind of you for the £5 super chat. Andrew Ray, £5. Thank you very much. Super chat. Parliament to debate the petition you signed apply to the UK to join the European Union as a full member. The debate is scheduled for the 24th of March. That's really interesting. I don't think they're going to go for it, but that's cool anyway. And Arctic Bear, thank you so much for the £20 super chat. And also Andrew Dixon saying nice one to Russell. So Russell, Andrew, and everybody else who's given some money today. Thank you. Thank you so much. Right, so we get on with the show. Keep getting distracted. I keep going off on tangents. Do you know what? Instead of going for my ADHD assessment, I should have just like sent them a link to watch the live show on here and see what they thought. Mike Dix, happy birthday. Hey, Mike, how you doing, mate? I'm looking forward to the show at 1 o'clock at you and Phil. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Hope you can still do it. I've got to send over the assets, the graphical assets. I've got to send them over. Okay, so where were we? We were talking about Starmer's masterstroke, the royal gamble. He played the king to play the king. He presented Trump with a personal letter from King Charles III, inviting him for a second state visit to the United Kingdom. Why it worked, Trump is obsessed with status, pageantry. He's incredibly vain, and he was visibly pleased. He was like one of the kids getting the bloody golden ticket for Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. And Starmer played to Trump's vanity, absolutely, you know, and secured goodwill because of it. You need to know how to play these people. And again, as I keep saying, I couldn't do this. I just couldn't. I'd just be like, mate, you're a gobshite. I hate you. Just get out of my face. But that's why I'm not a politician. That's why I'm not a diplomat. UK Med C says, my granddad would say autism was made up, then go sort his stamp collection, sort his model trains, and go to military events. Yeah, granddad, I think you had it, pal, says UK Med. Yeah, there was a lot of people of the older generation who were like, yeah, it's not a real thing. And then, yeah, stamp collections, model trains. Dave says, my school report always had lax concentration, easily distracted and spelling. Yeah. Out of the woods, jogging with the dog. Just remembered it's Graham's birthday, so joined in, says Slot. Thank you very much. And Slot gave a super chat earlier as well, which is really kind. Chrissy, I was also labelled another thing, but not going there. Looking at my old school report, it was always Christopher does well, could do better if he applied himself more. Yeah, I got a lot of that. I think one of my teachers signed my shirt on the day that I left, and they wrote, you're either a genius or a madman. They just signed the name of the teacher on it, and I was like, thank you. Okay. Could I be both? My daughter was labelled non-conformist at primary school. I cannot lie, I was secretly pleased, says Jane. I would be too. I'd be like, that's a very naughty thing you did. Wow, some amazing birthday gifts for Graham, says Sean. Yeah, absolutely, Sean, absolutely. I don't suffer as much as my bro and sis, so I haven't gone for a diagnosis. I'm retired now, so what's the point? And I've found that since I got the diagnosis, I'm not on any medication, I'm not going for a program, I'm not doing any cognitive behavioral therapy or anything like that. I just found getting the diagnosis really helpful. I really did, because it was like, okay, I can now say it's not something that might be a thing. I mean, there's the odds were it probably was, but like it's not a maybe, it's a definite. And having that certainty has really given me a rocket. You know, the last month or so, I've been way more proactive. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been making way more videos, way more content. I feel like I've been a lot better organized doing these shows. I feel like I've been better with my engagement. There's some things I can still do better, like getting on Discord now and again to chat to you. But in general, I think, you know, I've done quite well since I've done better since I got the diagnosis, so that it's free. You might have to wait a while, but you don't have to pay for it, and it just gave me the peace of mind and knowing that, you know, I wasn't just a massive C unit. I'm now a C unit with ADHD. Yay. Ivan Ambrose, thank you so much for the £20 super chat. It's really kind of you, Ivan. As a person with autism, certain amount of people still worryingly think that autism as a child is a child-only condition. P.S. Why can't there be autism medication too? It isn't fair that ADHD has it, but autism doesn't. It might come down to research. I don't know. There are certain things that might work with ADHD. Not everyone, but some people with ADHD, it doesn't work on others. With autism, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know anything about the medicine for it, but it does seem a bit unfair, Ivan. I've got to agree that, yeah. But, I mean, I give an example. So before my dad got really ill with dementia and everything, he always used to get upset that one of my nephews didn't want to shake his hand when he came to the house. And the reason was my nephew's autistic, like he's diagnosed autistic. But my dad just couldn't get his head around it. He just thought that he was being rude. He thought he was being like, you know, out of order, not shaking his hand. And it was really hard to try and explain to someone of another generation what the reason behind it. But, you know, my dad's generation equated gay people with paedophiles. But at the same time, they all kind of like gathered around to protect the paedophiles from being outed by the church or kicked out of the church, put in jail where they belong, or by the BBC or wherever these predators were working, trying to get around it. So, yeah, it's a generational thing. I think things are getting better, both for ADHD people, autism people, ed people, you know, all over the spectrum. But this idea that like, oh no, it's just a fashionable thing. You know, everyone says they have ADHD now. It's the same with trans, you know, people saying, oh, everyone wants to be trans now. You just look at the spike in people being trans. And you're like, yeah, they've always been there. They've just been suppressed. The same with left-handed people. For years, left-handed people, up until the 1960s and into the 70s in some schools, left-handed people were forced to write with their right hand because they just thought that left-handed people didn't exist. And then if you look at the stats, number of left-handed people dropped to longer like 1%, then suddenly 10%. In a few years of the population are left-handed, and they just stayed at 10% because they were always left-handed. It's not like people went, hey, I'm going to join this fad of being left-handed. You know, you're either right or left-handed. Really happy about the visit, as we can show Adolf Hitler how much we detest him. Hey, good point. Oh, wow. Thank you, Katrina Tam, for the £50 super chat. That's so kind of you. Happy birthday, Graham. The amount of things I am boycotting is getting out of hand now. Lol. Amazon, Disney Plus, Netflix, Google, as much as I can. Mindful Chef, owned by Nestle. Everything produced by Nestle. It's a lot. And now Ocado and M&S. Yeah, don't boycott this channel yet, though. If you can move to a safe haven where we can still get super chats and it could all still work the same way, I will be moving, because obviously this is owned by Google. But yeah, today is a big blackout day for people in America. The 28th of February, they've said this is the day that they're not going to buy anything online. They're not going to use Facebook. They're not going to use this. So hopefully that has an effect. But Katrina, thank you so much. That is so kind of you. Thank you so much. You've really made my birthday, everyone here. I'm still trying to talk about what I've got me notes about, but God, it's been so long that my screen's turned off. It's been so long since I looked at my computer. We wouldn't want you any other way, says Richie God. Oh, thank you. Oh, I bet you would though. So with how yesterday went, how do you think Elon Musk will react with Trump cozying up to Starmer, who Elon despises? I don't know. I think that Elon Musk is hanging from a very thin thread at the moment. So, you know, it's an issue. Tripod says, I was diagnosed with Asperger's at 7, now in the process of getting diagnosed, as I definitely have ADHD on top of autism. Yeah, it's fun. Lol. Yeah, it's not Asperger's anymore, is it? We don't refer to it as that. That's why you put it in inverted commas. But yeah, it's just a different way that people's brains work. You know, it's not a bad thing. It's not necessarily a good thing. You know, it's just a thing that we should be fair, be kind, and accommodate in our lives. We can. It's not that big a deal. You know, you don't have to go, oh, you're being rude because you won't shake my hands. Oh, how dare you be so rude. Antoli, thank you very much for the super chat, £5 super chat. Happy birthday, Graham. I hope you have a good one. Did you see the CPAC Nazi? Yeah, with what's his name, Stephen Bannon, trying to do he tried to do a Hitler salute, but it was a bit like half-arsed. It was a bit bit of an erectile dysfunction of a salute, as other comedians have noted. I'm stealing that line and I'm going to use it. David says, happy birthday. Oh, thanks very much, David. Hayton says, boss move. I hate shaking hands and wish it wasn't a social norm. I don't want to touch your hand. I don't know where it's been. Yeah, Hayton, there's a lot of people who feel the same way. And I'm really a bit weird about people touching me. Like, if I don't know them. If I know them, it's fine. Meet them up, give them a big hug or whatever. But some people can be quite tactile, and it kind of just the way I am. I don't know why. It gets my shoulders up. I don't like it. Unless I massively fancy them, and then they can do what they like. I'm a lefty too. I was very fortunate to have an artistic outlet. However, unfortunately, art was not seen as a route to successful employment. So it was pressured to be more academic, says Leonora. Yeah, that's another thing that we've got to sort out in the way things are in this country at the moment. The arts are just absolutely dominated by the rich kids, and we're told we're not allowed to go to the arts because there's no money in it. Yeah. But I bet they grew up laughing at John Inman and Larry Grayson. Yeah. I'd rather not be trans, ADHD and ASD. I'd like to have a simple life, said Hedrick. Yeah. It's that argument again, like, if people were just pretending to be trans, for instance, to attack women in the toilets, like, why would you go through that? I mean, if you're that diabolical, like you're going to attack a woman in a bloody public bathroom, why wouldn't you just do it? Like, and there's the other side of the coin, which is like trans men who look very, very masculine, a trans mask, big muscles, proper big beard, a bigger beard than me. And they're having to use the women's toilets because they were born female. I mean, no, it's just madness. That'll make women feel more safe when you're going through a wee. My mum was forced to write with her right hand. Still gets comments from folks when writing. Does live in rural Norfolk though, says Phil. Yeah. UK Bedsy says, I'm left-handed, born in the 90s and struggled with access to scissors and other things. Some desks are designed for right-handed people. Yeah. Well, actually, it's not just that. Like the ergonomics of everyday life is designed around a 5'10" man, which is great for me because I'm a 5'10" man. Not so great for everybody else who might not be 5'10", because that's not the average height of women. And making things easier for people to access in wheelchairs and things like that makes it easier for everyone to access. And I think that we should be designing the world around inclusivity rather than exclusivity, this one size fits all ideal. No. There's more than one way to skin a cat, and make everyday life accessible to all. Strange how it's always the same kids getting the punishment, says David Peacock. Yeah, indeed. My mum and her left-handedness literally had beaten out of her by the nuns who taught her, says Mike. Oh my God, the trauma, the horror of like schools in the past. And I feel so glad that when I went to school, caning was not allowed. Ivan, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. I'm on a combination of medicines for my mental health, but that's separate to my autism. Although they can have links, meaning my mental illness has exacerbated my autism. That happens, yeah, absolutely. And it's where you need the support, and you're not getting it at the moment. You're having to pay for your own therapy, and that's just wrong. It's just wrong. Society should be helping you at that, and that will help you in turn give back to society. It's the old-fashioned attitude of just just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I love it when a millionaire nepo baby tells us that. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like, we're all just dead lazy. We just sit around, doing nothing. My grandson and late brother will only offer their head to kiss, not their face or lips. My bro is decades dead and never met my grandson. It's innate. Yep. I'm very protective of my personal space. Really hate crowded areas or noisy places. I'm not too arsed about like crowded places or getting in the mosh pit or something. It's just that sometimes I do get a bit funny about my personal space. Like, I just don't like it being invaded by people necessarily, without me asking them to. I'm going to have to jump through a few of the chat here, because otherwise we're not going to get to anything that I need to say in this show. We're already up to 9:45, so I'm going to have to wrap it up in 15 minutes. So let's bash through this. Let's bash through this, shall we? And thank you so much for everyone's super chat. Oh, no, we got another one from Andrew, AB. Thank you, AB. Happy birthday, Graham. Let's leave the super chats for a moment, and we'll crack on with the show. Thank you very much, AB, and I hope to see you later today or tomorrow. I don't know, but I'll give you a shout. I will definitely give you a shout. Okay, so we talked about the royal card that was played. And let's have a comparison with Macron. Starmer outplayed the French president, Emmanuel Macron, by offering a tangible token of prestige, showing the UK's edge in the diplomatic charm offensive. If I had more time to do the thumbnail, I might do this for the 1 o'clock thumbnail. I wanted to have Keir Starmer and it says charm, and then it's Trump and it says offensive. Ukraine peace talks, walking the political tightrope here. We've got support for Ukraine's sovereignty and resistance against the peace deal that rewards Russian aggression. Trump's stance is he continues to muddy the waters by calling Zelensky a dictator. He then said, I don't remember saying that. He didn't say it, he wrote it. History must be on the side of the peacemaker, not the invader. That was what Starmer said. That was the key quote, takeaway from this. Subtly rebuking Trump's Russian-leaning narrative. And just history must be on the side of the peacemaker, not the invader. That is such a great line. They must have workshopped that line, okay? Because you're appealing to Trump's vanity, as a historical leader, and saying, like, you're a good person because you're trying to make peace. You're the goodie in all this. And then you're turning it on that, saying, but Putin is not trying to make peace. He's invaded someone else's country. That is a really succinct, nice bit of politics right there. Starmer, oh, wow, thank you very much, Effie Null. Thank you very much, Effie Null. I'm a firefighter with ADHD, amazing at an emergency, terrible at studying for exams. I can't progress. Oh, wow, that's a really good point. Thank you very much for the super chat. But also, you made a good point there, because whenever I'm in an emergency situation, I'm a really good person to have around, generally speaking, touch wood, in emergency situations, because I go really calm and collected and really like, right, we need to do this, and this. I don't panic. I don't freak out. In emergency situations, great. But yeah, exams, nah, forget it. I can sit down and write for an hour, but doing the revision and all that kind of stuff, just having the discipline, it's very difficult. David, thank you very much to David Faulkner for the 158 Hong Kong dollars. It's really, really kind of you. Happy birthday. When Trump, Vance, and Rubio say they want peace, they are lying. The people that Agent Orange has surrounded themselves are dedicated warmongers, American exceptionalists, and neocons. Never trust the Yanks. I agree. We've already said he'll probably change his mind next week anyway. Well, to see King Charles tell Trump, hands off Canada, it's mine. Hey, that's from Voodoo Fairy. Yeah, I'll go with that. Canada is Canada's, says Mr. TSK 27. Yeah, indeed. Emergency response, great. Yeah, indeed. And that's the same with a lot of my ADHD friends. It was funny. I'll tell you a little story. So at the weekend, we went to visit a friend of ours who we haven't seen for a while. And on the way there, my partner Kat says, "Oh, I really like such and such." And I think she's one of your only friends who isn't ADHD, who's actually neurotypical. Anyway, honestly, we sat down and I just said, "Oh, I've had my diagnosis and everything." We're talking about it. She said, "I've really got to go for mine because I'm definitely ADHD." And I just looked at Kat and went, what can I say? ADHD people tend to flock together. We tend to attract each other for some reason. I don't know why. There's the other side of that. It's like, I don't know if neurotypical people can keep up with us or not find us annoying after a while. So yeah, I'm probably annoyed the living crap out of my neurotypical friends over the years. Apologies. Okay, so we're going to go on and just talk a little bit more about this meeting yesterday. Starmer needed to openly support Ukraine without, at the same time, contradicting Trump, maintaining UK credibility while avoiding Trump's wrath, and he walked that tightrope. He really, really did. And like I say, I'm not happy with all the stuff Labour have done since they got into power, but at the moment, right, today, at what time is it? 9:51 in the morning. I am absolutely chuffed that, given the situation, that Keir Starmer is our leader and not anyone else. I mean, maybe at a push, Ed Davey might be able to have pulled this off because he's a very intelligent man. But I mean, Kemi Badenoch, no, she could not have done this. maybe some of the Tories might have been able to sort of walk the tightrope, but I don't know. Really, in the greater scheme of things, the ability to do this kind of stuff is it's out of my reach, and I think it's out of the reach of a lot of the politicians that we have right now. So yeah, they also had to talk about NATO. He had to convince Trump to maintain US commitments to NATO's Article 5. If one country is invaded, it's an invasion against the whole lot of us, all 32. He offered Trump offered lukewarm support for NATO, but hinted at Europe having to defend itself, which is not great. Starmer reinforced the historic strength of the UK-US alliance and the necessity of Americans backstop for any American Ukrainian peacekeeping. They need that backstop. They need it in place. We don't have the facilities to be doing that ourselves in Europe at the moment. I mean, we might do in a few years' time, but right now, right here, right now, we don't. Trump did commit to Article 5, so that's a win as far as I'm concerned, albeit with a caveat, which is I don't think we're going to have any reason for it. Oh, really? Trumpy dumpy. I don't know. I don't know about that. Blue Badger 88. Yeah, ADHD. Yep, I was an army cadet. I was made an NCO for being under pressures and adaptation. It wasn't just me. The army seemed to love people with ADHD as leaders. Yeah, that makes sense because of the ability to think calmly in a stressful situation. In an alternative reality, Kemi meets Donald Trump the following day. Trump declares war on UK. Yeah, indeed. David says, sadly, it's impossible to boycott everything. Just avoid where you can. Everything did that. If everyone did that, it would hurt them. Think before you buy. Yeah, David, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And one of the things that people like say against boycotts is like, oh, they never work. But they do. They work all the time. Companies, they're always looking at the bottom line. And if they have a product that's not selling very well, they'll stop selling that product because it's not selling very well. They'll try and find something else to sell better, or they'll try and market it more, or whatever. They're constantly looking. And a boycott doesn't necessarily mean a political boycott. It might just mean this stuff tastes disgusting. No one wants it. It could be like Dasani water over here in the UK, where it was found to have too high bromide levels, so like it just went off the market. And that was because no one wanted to see the word Dasani on the water. After they'd sort out the bromine issue, I suppose they could have kept selling it. I don't think they still do, but it was Coca-Cola tap water, Peckham spring water. But yeah, it went off the market. Yeah, the boycott was successful, even though it wasn't a political boycott. It was just no one wanted to be associated with that brand. Tesla's doing the same thing. Tesla has lost over 50% of its sales from January last year to January this year. 50% of its sales down in January in just 1 month, and it's still going down. The share price is going down. They've lost over $300 billion dollars worth of market cap. $300 billion. I can't even imagine that kind of money. That's more than the GDP of about 100 different countries around the world. And they lost that money. Also, Elon Musk retweeted a tweet about Carlos Slim, who's a Mexican billionaire. He retweeted something saying that he had links to Mexican drugs cartels. And Carlos Slim is a huge investor in Starlink. And he was just like, right, pulling my investment out, 22 billion. 22 billion he invested in Starlink. He might be going to do our own thing now. Bye-bye, Elon Musk. So Tesla, Starlink, and Twitter, like Elon Musk's brand is just in the dirt right now. It really is. Trump's attack on Canada has made Canadian politics dramatically different. Canada is rallying to resist. Well, this is actually quite a good thing, because Poilievre, or what his name is, the opposition leader in Canada, was jockeying himself to become prime minister later this year when they have elections. I don't think he's going to win. I mean, he might do. He might do. I'm not going to say he's not going to win, but his approval has gone down because of his support for Trump. Graham, your birthday is the same day as the people from Andalusia, the South area. So I don't know where Andalusia is. I've spent a lot of time in Andalusia, but yeah, it's the same day as people from Andalusia. Cool. Does that mean I could go to Andalusia and there'll be a big party? Gillian Hope, have a great birthday. Oh, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. That's very kind of you. Starmer achieved all the targets the right-wing press set him, thinking he'll fail. Now they'll move the goalposts. Well, yeah, I can't do a newspaper reviewed this morning because I'm on my phone. But yeah, in the future, I mean, you might look at that. Thank you very much to Ivan. In an emergency due to my autism, I would not be calm. Sorry, but it's not fair. I know it's not fair. I know it's not fair, Ivan, but you'll react differently in certain situations where your autism will actually be a benefit rather than something holding you back. And it's the same with ADHD. It's the same with a lot of things, actually. I think of my partner being deaf, being able to read lips from a distance. That's kind of like a superpower. I don't know how she does it. She's very, very good at it, but she can still say what people are saying across the room. And she uses that to fight crime. She doesn't, but she could. Oh wow, we've got a new member. Thank you very much to Haruri Suzimiya. Welcome to Superstar. Thank you very much for joining the channel. Welcome, welcome. You now get a little rose after your name, which is cool. As for Nestle, not Nestle, they need prosecuting Nestles. As for Nestles, not Nestle, they need prosecuting for crimes against British chocolate. It's a bit harsh. Have you tried American chocolate? Jesus Christ, Hershey bars. Wow. Let's not derail ourselves talking about how disgusting Hershey bars are. Trump did say he likes Starmer's accent. Perhaps he likes him as a knight of the realm. Yeah, I just love your accent. You hear that a lot from Americans. Yesterday, on the 20th of February, is the day that Andrew Thie was founded. It's a day off in all South, in Seville and Granada and Malaga. Cool. I've actually spent my birthday in Barcelona before, but now you've told me that, I'm going to Granada. I love Granada. My favorite place in Spain by far is Granada, just because of the Alhambra Palace there, and it is just it's for me, being interested in my history and the culture and everything. It is so remarkable to go to Spain and see this building that was built over 500 years ago. And the similarities between that and buildings like the Red Fort and things in Agra, literally thousands of miles away in India, and the same what's it called, architectural vision being played out, very, very similar architectural visions being played out in the Iberian Peninsula and in the Indian subcontinent. And it's like, wow, like humans, pretty impressive. I love it. Also, in Granada, you get tapas when you go for a beer, which is always a great idea. Cold beer on a hot day, like a little bottle, not going mad. Then you get a little bit of tapas with it, and you don't pay for the tapas. It just comes with the beer, and I love that. And also, it helps line your stomach. I know that's not technically true. You're not lining your stomach. You're stopping the alcohol getting into your intestines. That's what you do. Daily Mail, breaking news: Starmer wearing a tan suit. That was actually breaking news, wasn't it? Back in oh god, what 15 years ago or something, that Obama wore a tan suit, and that was God, take me back to those days. Right, I'm going to quickly get through the rest of my notes before we sign off. So trade and tariffs, really important thing. Softening Trump's America First agenda. Starmer's strategy was he praised Trump for changing the conversation while subtly defending the fairness of UK-US relations. And I've got to say that if you're looking at like trade in, trade out, we have a much more level situation with America than the rest of the EU does. This might actually be a thing where Brexit is beneficial to us. Hate to say it, because I hate Brexit with all of my heart and soul. But yeah. Oh, we just got a super chat in from Ivan. Mike Amesbury's sentence being reduced to 2 years suspended is not good. An everyday person would have to serve a few sentences. How did you get the appeal so quickly? Says Ivan. It was a first time offence, and that does actually happen quite a lot with things like that. I think he should have gone to jail, to be honest with you, just because he's quite a high profile person, and it sends an important message to the to people not to get into a stupid drunken fight on a Saturday night. All jokes aside, people die from being punched once in the head. People die from it. It's really, really dangerous. And for someone who's an MP, someone who's elected, someone's supposed to be a representative doing that, I think he should have been made an example of. And it pisses me off that, like, if I guarantee if they were a minority or something, that he would have been made an example of. But yeah, it is a bit galling. But they'll have the excuse of like, it was his first time. He's shown repentance. He's really sorry for what he did, and etc. etc. And to be honest with you, most of the time, I would actually be on the court side and say, yeah, I would rather people do 200 hours of community service, like he has been sentenced to, rather than go to jail, because going to jail doesn't really, I mean, it doesn't really work in a lot of circumstances. It's more to do with, the effects on the other people that they see it, see people going to jail, and it maybe stops them from committing crimes. So if you're going to use jail for that reason rather than rehabilitation, I can see putting them away for a little bit why they would, but also I see why they've got a load of guidelines that judges abide by to look at how things work. But yeah, the fact, the speed of it is that's nothing unusual. That would be Mike Avery's lawyers basically fighting back and saying, hey, this is too much. David says, getting my ADHD diagnosis at 45. So did I. Changed my life, ended my cycle of depression, and helped me understand who I was. It also means I can help my kids and support them. Yeah, I feel the same way. I honestly feel the same way. Martin says, stop talking about chocolate. Okay, I'll stop. Right, we've really got to get finished now because I've got to get on with the day. I've got to have some breakfast. I've got to have a cup of coffee. I've done it. I've literally rolled out of bed this morning. I haven't actually. I had to make a thumbnail and had to do some notes for the show. So I'm just gonna blast through, unless someone throws a super chat up. I'm just gonna blast through this. So yes. Starmer's strategy, he praised Trump for changing the conversation. Trump bluster. He accused the UK of benefiting unfairly from trade deals and hinted at potential tariffs. Starmer's rebuttal was that our trading relationship is not just strong, it's fair, balanced, and reciprocal. And while no formal trade agreement was announced, Starmer may have mitigated immediate tariff threats through diplomacy, and that's what we needed him to do in this situation. Oh, Lee Corn just stopped me in my stride. Thank you very much. But what a nice way to stop me in my stride. Lee Corn, thank you very much for the £20 super chat. Happy birthday, Graham. Have a big pot of Scouse on International Scouse Day. Who will come up with such a thing? I don't know. Who would decide to dictate that everyone in his home city has to eat Scouse today? We've done some really cool things with Global Scouse Day over the years. Like we've had collaborations at Liverpool Football Club, Everton Football Club, Alderhay Children's Hospital, the Royal Hospital in town. We've also raised loads of money for the Whitechapel Centre, which is a homeless charity, and the what's it called? There's a place over the water that researches, the Clatterbridge Clinic, that researches and helps people with cancer. And we've done stuff like we did. Remember Virgin Trains used to run the trains to London. It's something else now, but it used to be Virgin Trains. They would put Scouse on the menu for the day. You'd be able to get Scouse on the trains if you were coming to Liverpool on February 28th, and they provided hot meals. And we often work with homeless charities and restaurants like Marais in town would make loads of Scouse and give it out to people who are homeless or sleeping rough. So they actually got a decent, nutritious hot meal inside them, at least for one day, which is just wonderful. I mean, that for me is the best birthday present of all. The fact that we set this in motion, and to be honest with you, we didn't really do that much to set it up. We just decided we just decided it was a thing, and then managed to get a lot of restaurants and cafes and bars in Liverpool to get on board with it. It was more my friend Laura who did it rather than me. In fact, the first Global Scouse Day, I wasn't even here. I wasn't even in the country. I was still traveling. So yeah, credit where credit's due with Laura Worthington and also Dave Critchley as well, the quite famous chef from he's been on the Great British Menu a few times, and he was the head chef at Alma de Cuba back in the day, which is a fantastic place. If you ever come to Liverpool, it's not quite as good as it was, but it's still pretty beautiful. It's the old Polish church in town on Slater Street, and not Slater Street, sorry, it's on Seal Street, and it's this beautiful old church with stained glass windows and stuff, and it's been turned into a bar restaurant, and it just looks fabulous. But yeah, he helped out as well. So yeah, kudos to Dave and Laura. Hopefully I'll see them later today. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about free speech very, very quickly because I'm well over time now. Trump said his administration, JD Vance, most notably, accused the UK of curtailing free speech. This is something that JD Vance said in his speech in Munich a few weeks ago. Last week, I don't know. Time's moving in funny directions at the moment. Starmer emphasised the UK's long-standing commitment to free speech and democratic values. And the subtext here: this was a veiled attack on UK policies and hate speech around online areas where Trump and his allies pull the whole free speech absolutism bullshit. Even though they don't really believe in that clearly, because if they did, they would act very, very differently. So I'm gonna have to get just some water here before I go on. You can see how distracted I've been with everything today, with our wonderful super chats coming in, and happy birthday things. I'm just halfway through my notes now. Gaza 2-6 solution. So Trump's position is unclear, and he's put out that weird video, didn't he? The AI video thing, dangerously vague, and previously suggested that the US could own Gaza. It could become Gaza Trump or something, or Trump Gaza. Starmer says he firmly reiterated the UK's support for a two-state solution, in stark contrast to Trump's property developer mindset, and it demonstrated that Starmer is not afraid to draw clear moral and diplomatic lines, even against Trump's bluster. Scouse Islands, Diego Garcia, whether Trump will support UK's controversial plan to return Scouse Islands to Mauritius. Trump's pattern, his administration has shown a tendency to interfere in territorial matters, Panama Canal, Greenland, Canada, blah, blah, blah. But Starmer's diplomacy, he avoided the topic publicly, suggesting it might have been discussed behind closed doors. No outright rejection from Trump suggests progress there. A couple of unsettling moments. Trump's evasiveness, Trump's very odd response when asked if the US would support British peacekeepers in Ukraine. Trump said the British have been incredible soldiers. They can take care of themselves. Great. So this it does indicate reluctance to offer concrete support, feeding into Europe's fears of a US disengagement. And then you've got Starmer's recovery. He pivoted back to the importance of the UK-US alliance maintaining a calm and composed front. And that's something that Starmer's very good at doing. And you see this at Prime Minister's question. He is good at thinking on his feet, something that Kemi Badenoch is very bad at. She's very bad at. So overall, was it successful? Yes. At the moment, as far as we know, it was a very, very successful trip to Washington for Keir Starmer. 5 main things that he wanted to do. He managed to do them. Seemingly, things might change next week. We don't know. Very interesting that he let Trump do all the talking pretty much in the press conference. Did you notice that? He just sat back and let Trump, rule the roost, because that feeds into Trump's ego of being like, hey, I'm the big be all and end all. Ivan, thank you very much for the super chat, mate. The UK is not curtailing free speech. It's curtailing hate speech. Vance is out of his depth. Yeah. I think Vance will be out of his depth in a paddling pool, mate. So Starmer avoided a diplomatic disaster. He maintained UK dignity and possibly avoided a trade war. Fingers crossed. We don't know. He risked appearing too accommodating to Trump, particularly in the eyes of domestic critics, which I think he kind of skirted around. You might have different opinions on that. And then the win, he secured a state visit for Trump, which could solidify UK-US ties and keep UK off Trump's tariff hit list, or, naughty list. And then, did Starmer manage to influence Trump's stance on Ukraine or NATO, or did Trump simply get what he wanted, a boost to his ego via a royal visit? Who knows? Roderick Joyce, probably the last super chat of the morning, because I really do have to go. But thank you very much, Roderick, for the £5 super chat. That is really, really kind of you. And Lee Corn saying Vance will be truly out of his depth in DFS. If you missed the joke there, DFS or where? I don't think they exist anymore, but they sold sofas. Anne Phillips, other expressions may also be available. Most of them not acceptable to YouTube, says Anne Phillips. Yeah, indeed. And David says, bye, Graham, happy birthday. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone watching and everyone who's contributed these absolutely amazing super chats today. That has been absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much, and yeah, really appreciate it. Sorry, I pressed the button to try and see all the super chats together, but my phone just hates me, and so it decided to turn off for a moment. Hey, but there you go. That's Jesus. Yeah, so I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has contributed today, everyone who's given a super chat. Thank you for making my birthday extra special. We'll be back at 1 o'clock today. Phil is going to be producing the show at 1 o'clock, The Agenda, and he's going to be joined by Mike Dix of Trumpton fame and also Friday Night Social here on the channel. And then tonight, Mikey is going to be hosting the Friday Night Social on the Bin podcast channel. So if you head over there, you'll be able to subscribe and watch the show on that channel. I'll put the link in onto this channel when I get a moment today. So look out for that, because if you're looking for the show to be on this channel, I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be on the Bin podcast channel. So we could do with helping Mikey and Tim and Wayne and all their mates and Brenner get their viewership up to 1,000. If they get 1,000 subscribers, then they can add monetization to the chat, and that'll be freaking fantastic. So thank you to everyone who has been so bloody awesome. And I think I'll just sign off now. Everyone's saying goodbye. Jane and Captain and Alistair and Super Tiny and Leonora and Diz and Mr. T and Katrina and MH Kara and Billy Kershaw and Captain and everyone else. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care. Have a great February 28th. And the sun is out here in Liverpool. Don't know what it's like where you are, but please have a chill. Have a good weekend. Chill out and enjoy the weather. It looks like spring may have sprung. And until next time, I'll say thank you so much for watching, and hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.